Hi, and welcome to Fantastic Living. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Today I'm going to show you how to make something that is restaurant quality, but something that you can make at home that's really simple, that takes just a few ingredients, and it's mussels and white wine sauce. Who doesn't love wine and who doesn't love mussels? And so we're going to make something that's going to be a wow dish that you can share with your family, that you can eat as an appetizer, or if you're hungry enough, you can eat the whole bowl by yourself, which I have done before. So all you need for this is about 2 pounds of mussels, and then you need some lemon at the end so that you can spritz over it so it has a nice little acidic flavor to it, and a little bit of flour, about 1/3 of a cup, and then I like to add a little bit of chicken broth to this, so I have a little bit of extra dipping sauce to it. It gives it a little bit more complexity, I think, and some herbs like thyme and parsley to help flavor that broth, and then shallots are really important, and then I have here some white wine. You want to use wine that you would drink yourself as well, because you will be drinking it when you slurp it up and so forth. So white wine, any type, is a dry white wine. So you can do Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio, anything that you have available that you like, you should use. And then I have a can of diced tomatoes. We'll drain that and chop it up a little bit so you have bits of tomato in there, and garlic. So the garlic and the shallots is going to make this really, really good. What we're going to do now is put the mussels and wash it and clean it. It's really important that you do this the right way, because the last thing you want to do is bite into some mussels and then have some sand or grit in there. And a trick that we use is to put flour or chili flakes into the mussels with water and give it 30 minutes, and then it'll spit out the sand, and then we'll wash it really well, and then from there we'll start sauteing it up, and it's really simple. So we'll do that first, and then we'll start chopping. Kind of washing it. See all that sand and dirt that comes out. Give it a couple of rinses. Visually inspect them and see if they have any of the beards hanging out. You want to pull those out. And beards. So now our mussels are all cleaned and they're ready to go, and you feel good when you see all that sand and dirt coming out. Mussels are best if you buy it the same day and you use it, but if you don't get to it right away, you have about a 1 to 2 day window in the fridge. You just put it in the fridge and have a bowl to collect any water that comes out, but don't soak them in water in the fridge or else they'll die. So that's something to note if you're going to be working with mussels. So what we'll do now is we'll dice up the shallots and the garlic, and then we'll slice up the herbs, and then we can get cooking on these mussels. So I think the shallots and the garlic is what's going to give it really nice flavor. This is a dish that I really like to order at restaurants because it's always a really, really good way to start the meal. Because butter and then wine sauce, it's all good stuff. And shallots just look like mini onions, but they have a little bit more depth of flavor. I have interviewed the owner of a really popular Vietnamese seafood restaurant before, and one of the things that she said to me was that if you just, when you're eating seafood, if you just taste 1 grain of sand, then the whole meal is pretty much ruined. And it's kind of true, because you're enjoying it, and then you're like biting on something gritty. So I think it's really important for you to make sure that you wash the mussels and make sure that they're clean, and take out the beard and whatnot so that it's ready, and that won't hinder the dining experience for you when you're eating it. So we just want to do kind of a dice and mince it. And if you have bread, it makes a really good companion to this dish, so you can soak up the bread in the wine sauce. And it makes it a little bit of a heartier meal that way. But for those of you who are carb conscious, you can just eat it straight up, and that's also really good. And I would say that this dish is also interchangeable if you were to use clams. Depends on whichever seafood you have available. I think they all work pretty well in the wine sauce. Okay, that should be good. Okay. Okay, shallots are done. I will chop up some garlic. I always chop up extra garlic because you can use it for something else later on, and keeps pretty well in the fridge. I think before I used to be really nervous about cooking with mussels or clams and all that stuff, because I wasn't exactly sure what the protocol is, if they're open, they're not open. But a basic thing to keep in mind is when you're cooking them, and if they are not open, then they're pretty much not a good idea to try to eat them. So once you cook them and they're still closed, then just leave those behind and don't eat those, just to be on the safe side. Some people will call this drunken mussels because it's doused in white wine, but we'll just say white wine so it's a little bit classier sounding. Okay. Okay, this should be good. We won't use all of this, but we'll definitely use a good chunk of it.
Okay, and our thyme leaves, we're going to leave them whole. We're just going to put them right into our broth, and our parsley. I have flat leaf parsley here. I'm just going to mince this up, and this is what we add to the end just to garnish it, so it has a pop of green and extra flavor. And we'll slice the lemon for later for garnish. And do some wedges. Okay, so this is all the prep we need to get started. So we're gonna take it to the stove and then put it all together, and then we're gonna have a really nice dish to show for it.